Welcome to the show, Dave from MYRIAD, everyone. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me, Jordan. And I'm excited to chat about some upcoming stuff, some secret stuff that we haven't revealed yet. You know how it
Really?
is. Yeah,
Wow. Well, I mean, one of the first things I think you should start about is the recent releases that you have brought out recently, including your single "We'll Be Okay" and "Goodnight Messages." So, how do you feel about that since they've come out? You happy with them?
yeah. They've been two of our most well-received releases so
Yeah,
far, like in terms of releasing them and sort of first month's kind of interest in streams and stuff like that. We're really
yeah.
happy with those. What we've done recently is we've done a couple of collab tracks, and those two are both collaborative tracks. The Midnight Messages we released first towards the start of this year, and it was
Right.
featuring our friend Chrissy. And OJ, our guitarist, wrote that song with her.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so it's a slightly different setup. Normally, it's maybe one of us comes with the song and then we put it to the band and we chat about it and flesh it out and stuff like that. But that one was kind of fully written with him and Chrissy, and then we were like, oh, let's do it. And it's a little bit different to our normal stuff.
Mm.
It's a bit more kind of more sort of indie pop, a bit more chill, but you can still tell it's Myriad. But like we will be going back to kind of the roots of Myriads next year.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, so that's Midnight Messages, and that was the first release, and then We'll Be Okay was the one that we were most excited about because we had a guest feature on that song as well. So that one's a little bit more
Oh,
rocky.
nice.
Yeah, it's a little bit more like reflective on sort of like early noughties pop punk, but it's like it's one of those slower ones. Like it's kind of think like it's like All American Rejects, that sort of
Right. Yeah.
vibe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's kind of where our sound overlaps with the guy who was featured on it, and that was Callum Litchfield from Bears and Trees. So
Okay. Cool.
so Bears and Trees have been our friends for absolutely years. They used to support us like loads of our shows in Southampton. So we're really proud of what they've done. And the one of the singers, Callum, I've known since uni. So I hit him up and was like, "Oh,
Wow.
should we do a song together?" And on the hottest day of the year last year, it was almost exactly a year ago. I think year and like a month or two ago. We wrote this song in his house. He lives in like the upper floor of this like one or two story house. He's basically got like the attic room on the hottest day of the year. I
Oh,
won't
I bet it was
exactly,
roasting.
yeah, I won't exactly dox where he lives, but it's London. So the hottest part of the country, the hottest day of the year, in the hottest possible place in his house, and we were like sweating out, but we were hanging out with his cats, and we wrote this song called "We'll Be Okay," which is kind of just about um, it's kind of a self-aware song that is just about all the embarrassing things that you do when you're with someone, and maybe it's a
Mm,
partner, maybe it's just a mate, and you just you'll trip up, or you fall over, or like you'll spill
yeah.
something on somebody and you'll be like, oh, why did I do that? Or you'll say something stupid and then later on in the day you'll be like, why did I say that? It's basically that song,
Yeah.
but the message is it doesn't matter, everyone's like it, we'll be okay.
Nice. Now, you've
Yeah.
just, off the back of that, you've just made me think of an obvious question there. Is there something that you'd put up there as the most embarrassing thing that you've done in front of a mate or someone like that? What's up there in the highlight reel?
That's a good question. um I was just
And
thinking actually of, go ahead.
I tell you what, while you're thinking,
Yeah,
I'll tell you one of mine, right?
go for it.
So a couple of summers back, right?
Yeah.
We was out with a group of mates. So I was there with my other half, right? And for some reason, I felt in my brain like I was 12 years old again, and I could like walk the wall near like
Right.
beaches and stuff. They've got a little wall. It's
Oh yeah,
probably
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
three,
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
three,
yeah,
4 foot tall, right?
yeah,
Right.
yeah, I love those.
I started doing it like I would have done back then when I was a kid. I
Yeah,
slipped in front of
yeah.
all my mates and that. So, but I
Oh,
did the most, it was like literally just dramatic, like fall,
yeah.
face first, everything.
Ow.
And then I just pretended to style it out once I got up. It's like,
Yeah, Brush it off.
everyone saw it. The beach was busy, man. But
Yeah,
we'll style this moment out and pretend that that
yeah.
didn't even happen.
That
Um,
sounds that sounds pretty
I
painful. I'm
mean,
not gonna
that's one
lie.
of the tame one. That's one of the tame ones for daytime. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah, fair. I've got one that's kind of in between the two. So,
go on.
it's not it's not too bad, but it's just one of these things at the time. It's just it's like catastrophic, but it's like you look back and it's absolutely hilarious. And that was it was one of the first nights back at university, I think in like second year. And I just
Right,
moved in with my housemates and we went out to this place in Southampton called Wild Lime. And we're just starting the night out. And then um we went to get a couple of pictures from the bar.
right.
So we got those, and they were obviously really heavy. And we had we had one for each of us. So I was carrying probably about three or four, and you can see where this is going. Went there, came back to the table, and my poor mate, like he was having a really bad day, right?
Yeah.
He was just having a bit of a rough time that day, and well, I put the pitch down, and at least two of them, these big full pictures, spilt all over him, and I felt so
Oh
bad. I was like, oh, I'm so
no.
sorry. And he was, have you ever had that thing where you're like, if you don't laugh, you'll cry? That
Yeah, yeah,
that was my mate, and I felt so bad. But we look back on it now, and it was like it was the most hilarious thing ever.
yeah.
Yeah,
See, sometimes that's always the best, sort of the root of the best stories, isn't it? Like
yeah,
just when things like that
yeah,
happen.
yeah,
And have you ever see? Obviously, I often think about the times where, um, when you're trying to retell the story to someone else that wasn't there, and
yeah,
like sometimes it isn't always sort of grasped about how funny it was
yeah,
unless you were there. Like,
yeah.
that feels like one of those where like you can only truly appreciate it if you was in that place at that time.
Yeah, it was the look as well. It was the
Yeah,
look that and it only went on him. So imagine this guy who's just minding his own business, right, on a table full of people,
yeah.
and then I come along, accidentally put the picture down, and it spills all on him, goes all over him and only him, and he's just like this. He's like just got his arms out, like dripping, and just like cry laughing. Just imagine that. Imagine that on your best mate.
Yeah,
That's pretty funny, right?
yeah. And of course, it's a waste of a pint as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, a pint and a bit. It was
I
at least
mean,
one picture that fell over.
they're not cheap now, are they?
No, I mean, yeah, this was a few years ago, and it was in Wild Lime, so it wasn't too expensive. It wasn't like it was a beautiful thing that I'm like, wow, I'm looking forward to this. It was just
Yeah.
like a standard like Blue Lagoon or something. But yeah, that was fun.
That's see. Oh, it's always good to look back on funny times, isn't it?
Yeah,
Now, obviously, see, it's been a while since we spoke to you. Um,
yeah.
so what else has been going on? Has there been something that you sort of can look back on that's happened in the last couple of years that you go, oh, that's really good. It was unexpected at the time, potentially, but now it's like, I'm really glad I did that, or I'm really glad we recorded that, or I'm really glad we shot this video in this location.
Yeah. So, I mean, over the past couple of years, there's been loads. I mean, like, wouldn't know where to start. I mean, obviously, all our online stuff's popped off. That's been more crazy than we could possibly like imagine.
Yeah,
But our main focus at the moment is shows, and we're always looking to play shows, no matter what they are. And that's always been our kind of vibe as a band. We just want to play live, and this year we did our first ever tour, like our first ever back-to-back proper tour, and we did Birmingham, Bristol, Brighton, Southampton, and London. We did
right.
5 dates.
How was that?
That was really cool. It was good, and I'm glad we did 5 dates and no more, because after that, I feel like you need like maybe a day in between. So if you do like 10 dates, 5 dates and then a
Yeah.
day off. Otherwise, it would be a bit much.
How was it like behind the scenes? Like, because obviously, you know, when you go on tour, sometimes if you're on tour for a period of time, and if you've not spent a period of time in each other's company
Yeah,
for long hours,
yeah,
it can get a little bit hard, can it, at times? How did you find that? Like the dynamic
Yeah.
shifting a little bit.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, to be honest. Like it wasn't a situation where we went in naive to stuff like that. To be
Yeah,
honest, like I think we just let like we actually all hung out like all the time. I mean, a couple of times we'd maybe, sort of split off occasionally, but most of the time we just hung out together. Um and as I say, 5 dates was the perfect amount. But we the good thing is we didn't hate each other by the end of the tour, which is
well, there you
really
go.
good. I think it could have easily happened, because things like that just happen, especially when you don't get enough sleep. I think that's the key
True.
thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
whenever I've gone on holiday with like mates and it's been a week and it's been like you're out until 2 a.m. and then you're up at 8 a.m. the next day, and that's the
Yeah.
case for 7 days. That's what gets you. That's what gets me. So,
Mm.
but we had a good amount of sleep each time. And to be honest, actually, we only had one um one night where we all stayed in the same place, because
Right,
we did it so that we left on the day to go to Birmingham and
yeah,
then stayed in Birmingham, and then the next day we drove to Bristol. But after Bristol, we just drove back to Southampton. So we only had
right.
one night in a hotel. So to be honest, I mean, yeah, it's not like we cheated by doing that, but we definitely, I think we did the smart thing. But at the end, like we still spent the majority of every day together. Like we get to the venue at like, I don't know, 4 and be
Yeah.
done by like 12. So it's full days. Yeah, it was a really good experience, and we just want to play further up the UK. We've never played north of Birmingham before, and people are
Are you going to go
screaming
to
at
my neck of the
us.
woods?
People are screaming at us to try and play the northwest, the northeast,
Get up to
Scotland.
Yorkshire,
Yeah, I know. People have been telling
Leeds,
us.
Sheffield. Oh,
I
we've got
know.
good cities there.
Oh, you're telling me we just need a tour manager who's down. Our last tour manager, unfortunately, they've finished as an organization.
Right.
We were kind of their last main project.
Mm.
So yeah, it's a shame because we've done a south of the UK tour, and what we'd like to do is maybe the same thing again. So like 5 dates, where we
Yeah.
do Southampton, London, Manchester, Glasgow, and then I don't know, Sheffield or something like that.
The reason I suggested Yorkshire, right, Dave, is
Yeah,
because I have this mildly controversial opinion that I
yeah,
think most bands,
yeah,
no matter the scale, if you're
yeah.
touring, they stop at about Leeds or Sheffield,
Right.
or and then maybe
Mhm.
skip out the bit in the middle and go to Newcastle.
Yeah. Oh, right.
You know,
Okay. That's rude.
but not all, but I've noticed
Yeah.
when you see the tour schedules for some big bands,
Yeah.
they'll just go to the big, obviously, because it makes
Yeah.
sense. They
Yeah.
go to the big cities in those areas.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
which is why, obviously, a few years ago, we interviewed Wheatus, and they're
Oh,
on
yeah.
tour
Yeah.
at the moment, and they're
Mm.
playing everywhere,
Mm.
literally everywhere.
Yeah.
Like they're going from all the towns and cities in the south, pretty
Mm.
much, all like the major ones, all the way up
Mm.
to little clubs in the
Hmm.
north. And
That's
and I'm
so
like,
cool.
it's so refreshing to see that. I think
Yeah.
you should definitely get to York at some point. That is a great city, great vibe.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it out there because why not? Because I
Yeah.
want to see you spread
Yeah.
the
No
Myriad
bias
message to
at
them.
all.
No, no, mate, absolutely not. No, no, absolutely not. No, it's just think it'd be good to get more Myriad fans everywhere.
I know, and the thing is, touching on that actually, like on our TikTok. I don't know if you've seen, but obviously we post videos and stuff like that. And we often say, let us know where you want us to play, or even it would just be a video, and then people will be like, play in Glasgow,
Yeah,
Yorkshire, Leeds,
yeah,
London, Plymouth, Cardiff, and I wish we could come everywhere, and it's
yeah.
so difficult. Like when you're trying to find places to play,
Mm,
but we have a really decent fan base at the moment. We've got thousands of active people who are constantly sort of
yeah,
streaming our stuff, which is really reassuring because it means if there's people everywhere that are streaming us, then it
exactly.
means that you know we can expand everywhere. It makes it
Yeah,
easier when we sort of get to the next stage, which is
yeah.
putting on music out around to other countries and stuff like that.
Where's the sort of the strangest place you've looked at on the algorithm on Spotify and gone, wow, we are popular in this country? Or is there anyone that sticks out and you just pleasantly surprised?
Yeah. Well, there's I think the two places outside of the UK that are most popular are Canada and
Nice.
Texas specifically.
Wow.
Really straight, really straight. I don't know if it's because of, as you say, of the algorithm. If somebody comments or saying Texas and we
Yeah.
reply to that saying, would love to come to Texas, and then someone else comments Texas,
Mm,
and then it gets shown to more Texan people. But
yeah.
we've literally found that more people have said Texas than like Liverpool. This is really
Yeah.
really annoying because
How
obviously Texas
random.
is a bit further away.
Yeah. How random's that?
Yeah, it is random. You know, it's
I
not like
mean,
I don't know what music they listen to there, but I guess they like
country.
songs like Afterglow.
Right.
Yeah, we'll do a country version of Midnight Messages.
Well, to be honest, I mean, the stranger thing that's happened in music.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
Where is on the bucket list of like places you would want to play? Have you got a mental list that you go, right,
Absolutely.
top five, top 10 or something?
Oh yeah, 100%. Me personally,
Yeah.
this is one of the things that drives me most for the band, in terms of places that we'd like to play. Number one on my list, and I'll say this, you know, this is always my number one, and that is the main stage at the Isle of Wight Festival. That's
Oh
my
yeah.
number one place that I'd like to play. If we play that, even if it's during the day, doesn't matter. Even if it's during the day, I will feel accomplished forever. I will never look back and be like, you know, we didn't try hard enough, or we didn't,
Yeah.
accomplish our goal, which was to play, that stage. That's for me. Obviously, we've got other places like the O2 Arena, which is a place that I've been to, a lot of times to see huge bands, and it would just be really cool just to play there specifically. But there's a lot of sort of that's way I feel like that's kind of like huge, especially if it's a headline. I mean, there's one thing sort of if you're supporting a band, that's definitely possible.
Mm,
If you're on their label, or they've got a tour coming up and you've got an album coming up, you can sort of sync up and open up for them. And
yeah.
to me, that will count because that's kind of a lot. It's kind of, you can see it.
Yeah.
There's one thing visualizing step 100
Mm,
versus step 10,000. You can see it. You can see how to get there. And
yeah.
for us, it's just a matter of making the best music we can,
Yeah.
and hopefully it resonates with somebody who likes indie rock music, has a band that's playing a big show, and then we'll jump on and get the crowd going for them.
Mate, you've got to manifest it, haven't you? You've got to believe it.
100%. Yep.
I mean, the one of the things that I've been thinking of asking you for a while, but I just not got around to it. It's a really simple one, but
Yeah.
what got you into like indie rock music or in like or anything in any
Mm.
variation of that genre? Because
Mm-hmm.
if we think about it, the high point for that sort of music was early 2000s, wasn't it?
Mm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
2000, what, one to maybe five or six, I suppose.
Mm.
Where did you first listen to this? Did you grow up listening to it, or
Yeah.
did
So
someone hand you a CD or a suggestions of what to listen to?
yeah. That style of music. So everything from 2001, 2002 to like 2008. That was for me my first experience of music that was kind of a specific style. So I didn't realize, I was born in 1997, so I was 8, 9, 10 when that music was kind of finishing off, as it were. So I was
Yeah.
growing up with that stuff, like, Arctic Monkeys, Kaiser Chiefs, all of that sort of stuff.
Mm.
And like, guitar music, when it was, I mean, it's still on the radio, but when it was kind of the main thing on the radio, and then there was pop music, and then there was kind of alternative music.
Yeah.
And the stories for me is when I went to middle school, for those who don't know what middle school is, basically like halfway between primary school and secondary school, they have it
Yeah.
all around the country, but that's what they had where I'm from, which is the Isle of Wight, which is year 5 to year 6, and year 5 to year 8. And when I went to middle school, my mum would always drive me to school, and on the radio, did that during that 10 to 12 minute journey, she'd always have on Absolute Radio, which was, the radio station which had all of those bands on, rock music, but also kind of, indie music and just guitar music in general. So for me, that's what I thought, oh, that's, I was exposed to that music a lot. So, but also my mum, she always loved like that kind of music anyway, and she was open to that. And like, it's not like she only listened to music from the 80s and 90s or whatever, but she had a lot of CDs, and she had stacks of CDs of all different kinds of music. So, everywhere from like Robbie Williams to Bon Jovi, everything in between. But also like she would get all the, like if an album came out, she would get it. Like if a Coldplay album came out, X and Y comes out, she'd get it. If a Take That album comes out, she would get it. So that kind of indie rock, pop rock sort of style is kind of what I grew up with. But it's also what we settled on as a band, because we all like that style.
You gravitate to it, don't you?
Yeah, and we can add extra to it. So the key thing is that obviously that music was kind of popular, 10, 15 years ago, but now we've seen like a proper resurgence of quite a few bands that have that similar sound. And there are a few indie bands that are like, switching up slightly. So maybe they're taking more of a poppy twist or something like that.
Yeah.
Or like, take like Seagulls or like Vistas or those sort of bands. They're all signed and doing tours and everything like that. And they're just kind of doing something slightly different. I think they have, a couple of synths and stuff on their songs. And that's what we tend to do as well. I mean, we like to add extra bits just to make it sound different and make it sound modern and more like Myriad than any other band, if that makes sense.
No, that does, yeah. Now, off the back of that, then, is there anyone out there at the moment that you like listen to and get a bit of inspiration from, and be it lyrically or how it sounds?
Yeah,
Is
absolutely. Yeah, I
someone
mean,
you gravitate to?
um actually, I wouldn't necessarily say there's one person or one band individually that we gravitate to specifically. What I tend to do is every 4 to 6 months, I'll really listen to a certain genre. So maybe I'll be really into like pop punk for like 4 to 6 months, and I'll listen to like the new Avril Lavigne music, and then I'll listen to, the new Green Day song and something else, or like there'll be another upcoming pop punk band that I will listen to, and then I'll kind of think, oh, that's cool, and then maybe it will inspire me to write a sort of a song that's kind of reflective on that style. And then equally, I might be in a phase where it's like, I'm listening to, the more classic kind of indie songs and discovering maybe songs that are popular, but I haven't heard yet. Like take Arctic Monkeys, for example, there might be a song with 100 million streams, but they've got so many songs that I might have never heard that song, and it might be off of one of their older albums. And I might be like, how have I never heard this? Like, this is such a good song. And it's clearly a good song because, people are listening to it, but it might be the first time that I'm hearing it. So I'll be like, oh, hear that song. And they'll be like, oh, that's a really cool riff. Like that would sound, if you tweak that and change those notes, you could do that as like a melody line. So it's kind of being inspired by certain things. So in answer to your question, I'll latch onto like a genre, or like a group of artists, and it'll be like all over the place. So it'll be maybe one modern, one classic, and then this song specifically, and I'll be like, oh, all that coming together, I'll write something that will be kind of inspired by that specific combination. Yeah.
I mean, like personally, I like to sort of listen to a bit of everything, right? And I think it's amazing, like when you listen back to stuff from, say, 60s, 70s, early
Yeah.
70s, how much like bands from today took, whether
Hmm.
knowingly or
Mm.
unknowingly, they took from that, like that era of
Mm.
like music. And I like I go back sometimes I'll listen to like early David Bowie stuff, and then I'll listen
Mm.
to some like even some like Arctic Monkeys or
Hmm.
Sabian tracks. I'm
Mm.
going, there's certain element of some of
Yeah.
their songs that you go, well, actually, by sheer coincidence, it sounds like that. And it,
Yeah.
in a way, it can, I always think it could potentially merge the two fan bases together. Because then the
Yeah.
people that grew up listening to that sort of music, and the people that listen to Sabia and Arctic Monkeys, they
Yeah.
can get something from it, can't they? And they can go, oh
Yeah.
God, well, and so the kids can take it to the mum, and who the mum who listens to maybe the Bowies and stuff, and go, oh my God, mum, I heard this is a new band.
Yeah.
And at times, your parents, some parents are like, "Oh no, kid, no, it's not as
Yeah.
good as my era, my era." And then they
Yeah.
listen
But
to it,
oh
don't they?
yeah.
And it's like, "Oh, actually,
Yeah.
that
But
reminds me of my
yeah.
day when this was out."
Yeah, I love that. My auntie's like that. She's proper sound. Like I spoke to her about a band recently, and she checked them out. She was like, "I love that." I'm like, "Yes, then." And it
Yeah.
works the other way around as well because I don't know if you've seen on like on TikTok and stuff like that. Stuff will trend. There'll be like that
Mm,
Fleetwood Mac song "Dreams," or there'll be "Everybody
tune, by
Wants
the
to
way.
Rule the World" by Tears for Fears, or like a song by The Cure, and
Mm,
it'll blow up there. So you'll get all the 14 to 20 whatever year olds like
yeah.
really into that song. And then when they play it live, you've got all the mums and dads singing, you've
Yeah,
got all
yeah,
these
yeah,
50
yeah.
year olds singing, and all these 20-year-olds singing as well. And it's really cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
I mean that's a special thing as well when you can get we can get a formula like that which
Yeah.
with regards to the songs which appeals to
Yeah.
both of those audiences. That's a special moment
Yeah.
in it, I suppose.
Timeless bangers.
Absolutely. I mean, we had my niece down over the summer,
Yeah.
and she's on TikTok, she's 13, she's listening to all the cool stuff. She gets in our car, we play her everything from 70s bangers to modern,
Yeah.
and she'll put it on and she'll go, oh my God, what is this? This is the worst thing in the world. And then a few hours later,
Yeah.
she's singing it, isn't she?
Yeah, literally,
How
it's
it
like with
happens.
everything. It's like with everything. You hear something for the first time, or you hear an idea, even if it's not music. You just hear
Yeah.
someone say something, and it's an opinion. Someone says something, and you're like, no, no, whatever.
Yeah.
That's wrong. That's wrong. And then the next
It,
day, you'll be like, actually, maybe you're right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Is there a type of music that, like, in the last few years, like through lockdown and since, that you've
Yeah.
sort of not listened to much of before, but now you're like, oh, I'm really into that now.
I think kind of more pop punky music, to be honest. I mean, I never listened to
Is
that
there
growing
anyone that
up.
should be looking out for? Who's on the
Ooh,
rise, Dave?
on the
You're younger than me.
rise.
You can keep me feeling young when it comes to my
Uh,
music.
oh man, I wouldn't be able to say. As I say, I don't really listen to a specific band or artist.
Mm,
I'll listen to like a song, and I'll
right.
listen to a song from a big artist from back in the day, from
Mm,
like before I was even, not before I was born, but before I was even consciously aware of what
yeah.
the genre was.
Mm.
That's what I'll do. So yeah, I'm sorry, I wouldn't be able to say. I mean, there's a lot of kind of upcoming bands that I know, but they're all
Here's a
kind of
throwback
indie
for you.
bands.
Do you remember MGMT?
Yeah,
Kids. Oh,
yeah.
whenever that song comes on, I'm like, this is still a tune. Get that
Yeah,
on.
it is such a banger.
It is. It is. And also as well, you've got another new song coming out
Yes.
soon. Red Hoodie. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So we're very excited for that song. We haven't officially announced it, but I guess
Oh,
you can
oh,
know.
have I let it out of the bag?
No, no. People who listen to this get to know stuff like months in advance.
Yes, mate.
That's why I say.
The
So
socials are
yeah,
gonna blow up now when they see this, aren't
yeah, yeah, yeah. Or they'll just post about it on the Discord. That's where people literally learn stuff,
they? Right.
literally months in advance, like 5 months before we even finish the song. They'll know that we're
Yeah.
releasing it. Get in the Discord if
Nice.
you're not already.
Yes.
But the thing is Red Hoodie is kind of think about it like a imagine the Kooks meets Declan McKenna, and it's
Oh.
kind of a little bit summery. And but it's like one of these songs that sounds happy, but the lyrics are kind of reflective and a little bit
Mm.
kind of like
Is there a
not
bit of a
sad.
dark undertone?
Yeah, it's basically just about a breakup and
Right.
and it's about having a red hoodie which someone's left, a
Right.
partner's left in your room,
And it's
you've
like a
broken up with
reminder.
them. Yeah, it's exactly like that. And that's what the song's about. But of course, we've got merch that is of red hoodies. We couldn't not do that. And our manager
Right. Right.
this has got literally the softest red hoodies, and people in the Discord have already got them. But it's not even out yet,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
love them. It's like they're really soft, really nice quality. But they've got really cool design on the back. But we were like, well, we can't not do red hoodie merch for the song. But we've also got a music video that we've done for that, which is really, really cool. Filmed
Oh,
that
where did you
in
film that?
Southampton.
Southampton.
In Southampton, our video editor sent me the first draft, and I haven't
Right.
watched it yet. I'm watching it this weekend, so yeah, I can't tell you if it's good because I haven't seen it yet. But the stuff that he's done before has been really sick. So, but yeah, that's literally basically like what we've got coming up. And then in London, obviously, but we mentioned this as well. We do have a show that has been confirmed, and we haven't officially announced that yet. So
Yeah.
you get two exclusives, Jordan.
Nice, nice. We love a few exclusive, we'd say,
Yeah.
on the show.
So yeah, so we're supporting a band called Silver Lines, who are really cool, at a place called 93 Feet East in London. And we played there before. We played there like years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, like pre-COVID. And
Mm.
last time it was dead because nobody knew
Yeah,
us.
yeah, yeah.
Now people know us, so we'll have a couple of people coming along, hopefully, to that.
Well,
So
what we'll do is we'll put links into all of that in in the on the post
yeah,
when this goes
yeah,
up.
yeah,
And final couple of minutes.
yeah.
What is the plans for the future? Like, have you a year, 2 years down the line? What do you foresee for Myriad?
Um, yeah. So plan is we're just going to be playing a lot more
Take
shows.
over the
So
world?
yeah, I mean, after tour, it's been quiet this year. That was our main thing this year. But next year, we're going to get back into just playing it all round. Not necessarily doing like a big back-to-back tour, but just playing
Mm.
some new places. We might come up to Manchester for a day, or come up to York, let's stay over, come
Yes.
back, sort of thing. So that's the plan. And also, we're really going ham on festivals. So if you know anyone who's got a festival, we're down to play. We'll be there. And yeah,
Mate,
that's about it.
that's brilliant. Well, thank you for joining us today, Dave. That's been absolutely fantastic that you've got so much to share and tell us all. That's been brilliant.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Cheers, mate. Thank you, mate.
That's all right.
Cheers.